Who, baby? How are we ever going to top last week and the energy and the
From Cousin
pizza
Greg.
talk?
I know.
Pizza, the special edition pizza episode.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I'm
how
still
can you?
hungry thinking about it.
I just really want to go to Liverpool and get a slice of chicken wing pizza at the pizzeria now.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can I can picture it. I can almost taste it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got
rub it
some
in.
Maronis in the fridge. I might
Mm.
heat that up this weekend.
You know, some Maronis. That's
Yep.
your favorite, isn't it?
Yep. From Scranton. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because we did pizza talk like a year ago, and I think we or maybe not a year, but like 6 months or something. We each said what our like very favorite pizza was.
Oh,
We had to
yeah. Yeah.
eat. We had to eat like one last pizza before we died or something.
Yeah. I
Before
think it
the
was a
world
question
ended.
from Cousin Greg. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And I think yours was Maroney's. I don't remember what Mass was.
Was it Dewey's?
Maybe. I know you mentioned Dewey's last week. I can't remember what you chose
Yeah.
when we
That's the
did that.
Cleveland one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, based in
Probably
Cincinnati, but yeah, they're in Cleveland.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what you said, Matt. But, oh, Judgy gets into one little blooper, base hit. Oh, my God. They're going to get a double out of this.
Are we gonna just panic about the Yankees for like an hour tonight? Is that what what the episode's gonna be?
I really don't want to. Although I do want to ask both of you two questions related to the Yankees, but I really don't want to get all dark. The first question is, do you think you know how we've talked about the addition by subtraction thing with Sanchez and how that was such a great thing for most of the season? Do you think the Montgomery trade had the opposite effect? Unintended, obviously, right? I don't think Cashman would have ever done it knowing that it's going to have this effect on the team, but do you think that is possible? Or am I just like overthinking things because they have 2 wins in the month of August and it looks like they're headed for another loss?
I don't think I think you're spot on. I mean, not only did we lose Montgomery at a time we need pitching, but apparently it also really pissed off Tyone too. He was not happy with that either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't read
What
that.
is this?
Yeah.
That Monty was traded the night before a start.
Yeah, and what Tyone was pissed just
Tyone
because
was not happy with how it went down.
Wow.
I mean, we had really good chemistry in that rotation.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, who knows how Montas is fitting in, and you don't have Monty. You know, we went from Monty to Montas, and it's not working out that well so far.
Yeah. Well, I was saying this to Toddy earlier. I was like, it's too early for this particular trade to know how it's going to work out, right? But and maybe this is recency bias, but there are 2 trades, or one is a non-trade actually, 2 situations that are just more confusing to me than anything in the Cashman era. And I know the Cashman era stretches a very long time, and we look at it with rosy lenses early on because things worked out. We won championships and everything. And we kind of know like what the bad stuff was during those years when it was down, and we've talked about that and everything. But I cannot understand the Montgomery thing, even though objectively, yes, it makes you better in center field. Did Glaber just hit a 2-run homer? I think he did. Peace.
Yeah? All right.
Cut the lead in half. Here we go. All we had to do was hit record. That's it.
Good luck, Charm.
They started hitting. All right. So one of them is the situation that we just talked about with Monty. And again, objectively, I can see how in the long term, but like the short term things, Matt, that you just talked about, pissing off other people and just the negative effect for this season alone is confusing. The other one, and Matt, I would love your opinion on this one, is Miggy. I still have no idea why he is on the team.
I don't think he should be here either. He should have been gone last year. I don't know what they thought that they were doing keeping him.
So here's my thing. And what's the phrase, hindsight is 2020 or whatever.
Yep.
I still cannot get over how he did not start an elimination game in the 2018 playoffs. So, okay, you want to make the argument, well, okay, let's give him a chance in a different position or something like that. That is one argument, but the other side to that argument is no matter what, there was always going to be a roster crunch, and he was going to be right in the middle of it. And so losing out on that leverage when he actually had value still makes no sense to me. It didn't make sense to me then. If we had the podcast then, I would have said it on the podcast. It certainly doesn't make any sense to me 5 years later when he is a complete shell of what he was in that rookie season. And like, what are they going to get from him now? And like, I was joking with you guys the other day, like when he requested that trade, they should have given it to him because he's useless. He's just as bad as Joey Gallo was. And like, Gallo's amazing now with the Dodgers. I get it, but I don't know. I'm just confused.
The moment we traded for Donaldson, he should have been gone. We've got on the roster Donaldson, LeMahieu, IKF, and Carpenter that all can play third base. Why do we hang on to him? I don't know.
Has he played third base since 2018?
I thought he played a game or two this year, but
it must have been an emergency need because I don't think that's ever been the plan to ever put him back there. And that's my point. Like, you just, I don't know. I'm probably just extra frustrated because of how things have been playing out over the last few weeks, but I'm just confused.
Yeah, he's a puzzling one, and I really hope. I mean, how many times we've gone back and said in Cash We Trust? How many times this year have we said, "Oh my God, that guy's a genius," and Yankees Twitter freaks out, and he doesn't. You that's your favorite. You like hate watching Yankees Twitter. Yankees Twitter doesn't know what it's talking about and freaking out on Cashman. But this looks pretty bad. And if he's going to get a lot of credit when they were doing amazingly earlier in the season, he's got to get
go both
corresponding blame. And so goes for Boone.
Yeah.
What the fuck's going on, Boone?
Yep. 100%. So let me ask you this. This is my other question related to the Yankees, but this is just more, I think, of a general baseball observation. Ethan, you've talked about this pretty extensively, especially when the Yankees were off to a hot start and just like how long the season is.
Yes.
And I was listening to Mandy Bell and Sarah Langs, who both are beat writers in Major League Baseball. And they were talking about the Dodgers and how they've pretty much come into form and they're the best team in the majors. It's probably not even close at this point, right? Yeah. The interesting point that they brought up is like, this is not the first time in this recent run for the Dodgers that they have been by and far the best team in the majors. And in none of those seasons did they win the championship. The one season that they won it was the COVID year, and they were good that year, but they weren't, the Dodgers as we kind of come to know them and everything. And it's so funny that like, our overlord, Andrew Otondi, will say that the Yankees had no shot in winning the World Series last year. And I just simply don't believe that. Like, when you get into the playoffs, anything can happen in today's setup, the way things are set up in the playoffs today. Like, I think, yeah, you can point out deficiencies and you can do this and you can do that. And you can say some team's really great, but at the end of the day, whoever is hottest is going to win in the playoffs. And so like, does it even matter right now that the Yankees look like the worst team in baseball? Because they're like one game off from actually being the worst team in baseball over the course of the past 3 weeks. And does it matter that the Dodgers have become this monster again? Because like, all that really matters, I think, is once October rolls around and those playoff games start, who's healthy, who's ready to play, and who gets good pitching and timely hitting. And that's impossible to predict.
Yeah, but I think momentum has something to do with that, right? Like,
does it though? Does it?
I don't know, especially from the pitching standpoint, if we're just going to be able to snap our fingers and suddenly everyone's pitching like they were 4 months ago.
Okay. So I'll jump in there because I have thoughts on all of this and the Monty thing. I'm not with you guys on that. I mean, I think there's validity to a certain extent that they fucked with some amazing chemistry in the rotation or whatever, and that there are impacts there that we can't necessarily measure. But I just don't think that we can lay that much blame there. I think we need to give like way more credit. That's not really the right word, but we need to be looking way more to the fact that, like, you know, Matt was just talking about, like, we can't snap our fingers and have the pitchers pitch the way they did the first 4 months. And that's my whole point, right? Nestor Cortez was not going to be Clayton Kershaw all season long. No fucking way. Jameson Taillon was not going to keep doing what he was doing. Garrett Cole has been inconsistent for his entire Yankee tenure, especially, as Matt pointed out, since the spider tack ban.
Yeah.
So the pitching was already going to come back down to earth. It already was, you know, there were already going to be questions of consistency. The Monty trade may have exacerbated things, I think, maybe for the reasons you guys are saying, but I think we were due for this regardless, even if we still had Monty. So I think that was going to happen no matter what. As far as Miggy goes, I mean, we talked a little bit about this in our text thread, and I think we're all sort of mystified by the whole situation, you know? And to me, I'm kind of with you guys at this point that, like, why did we not unload him ages ago and just taken whatever we could have gotten? Because at this point, like, he still hits well in the minors, and he probably could be a good hitter for some other team. But for whatever reason, the way the last couple of years have gone, clearly he's miserable. Clearly the Yankees do not think well of him. Like, cut him fucking loose. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's just a body. It's weird.
Yeah, it's really, really weird. And, like, it's to me, Cash must have gotten plenty of offers for him over the last couple of years, right? Plenty. I don't know how many that means, right? 5, 10, who knows? But it seems like a weird hill to die on. Like, what were the offers really, like, you decided to dig your heels in on, like, Miguel Andujar? Like, just take the random fucking single A pitching prospect that you get offered at this point, right?
Or just look at what we just gave up for a defensive whiz who's like an average hitter who's on the IL right now.
Right.
Like, you can't. I just can't believe that we couldn't have gotten something good out of this in 2018. I just can't believe that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, yeah, I just wanted to chime in on that because I think the Monty thing, I think you guys might be right to a certain extent, but I think this shit was going to happen no matter what. And the last piece, Colin, as you mentioned, I talk about this a lot. It's a marathon, and I think people forget that a lot of the time. Even us, even diehards like us who pay attention so much, it's easy to, like, not realize what the Yankees are, like, 72-44 or some shit, right? So they've played over 110 something games. That's a lot. That's a lot of fucking games. You're right. There's still 50 more games. That's a lot. Like, like, that's more than half of an NBA season. That's more than half of an NHL season. You know, baseball is just a totally different animal. So yeah, you might have, like, a really down month like this. Thankfully, we built ourselves a really, really good cushion with the first few months. So for me, I'm not quite hitting the full-fledged panic button yet. I'm definitely getting closer to that, but I think there's still enough time to turn things around where I'm not, like, totally freaking out yet, personally.
You know what I'm gonna do, Matt, because I love you, and because I'm actually super interested in this. And the reason it's coming to mind is I remember listening to Mike and the Mad Dog in 2007, right before Torrey got let go. So they had just gotten eliminated by Cleveland, the midges, thing or whatever.
Jabba.
Their second half of that season was incredibly good. Like the first half of this season, like they were the hottest team in baseball. So good. And it's not that they played terrible in that division series, but they didn't win, and I'm curious what the carryover effect is from the regular season to the postseason. Like, how often do the hottest teams, not necessarily the team that wins the most games throughout the regular season, but the hottest teams from August and September make a run? I know the A's played the dynasty Yankees. They went on super hot runs in September, both those 2000, 2001, and they almost beat the Yankees both years. They went 5 games, those division series, both times, and the Yankees took them down. Those are a couple that I can think of off the top of my head, but yeah, that would be a super nerdy baseball thing. I'll do some research on it and report back because I love you, Matt.
It would be fascinating. Yeah.
In just one thing, because I was curious, in defense of Nestor Cortez,
he pitched well last night.
He's pitching his best right now in the month of August, the best of the season.
He gave up the 3-run homer in the first inning, but then he pitched 7 innings.
How is he pitching his best?
Opponent's OPS is the lowest it's been all season.
Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely settled down.
Opponent's batting average, which you don't care about, is the lowest it's been all season.
Yeah, no, you
Um,
just gave us the useful information. Don't follow it up with bullshit. You gave us the
So,
useful information.
so he's even in May, his best month of the year. Before this, opponent's OPS is or 498. In August so far, it's 420.
All right, fair enough. So what that
No.
means then, I wonder, I mean, it would be interesting to dig through some of the underlying stats, but I wonder if that means that there has just been some worse luck in terms of the defense behind him, in terms of BABIP,
Well,
batting average on balls in play, all these kind of things.
So his batting average in balls in play is 140 this month. It was 192 in May, but in June and July it was almost 300. So
Okay,
that's
so
a factor there. Now, interestingly enough, though, his strikeouts per win are way down, so he's not striking out as many people.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he had 4 Ks yesterday.
Very interesting.
In 7
Okay.
innings.
So
Yeah.
interesting stuff. I
Yeah,
could
very.
get lost in baseball reference all day.
Matt, also because I love you, I went to Ask Clown. Well,
Good.
I went to Total Wine and Beer, and I got Ask Clown.
Check those dates. You check those dates, right?
I did not,
Oh.
but I knew I was going to drink it right away. 7-7.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Not terrible, right?
Yeah. It's very good. It's called Renewed Vision. It's double dry hopped with Raku, Rakau. Tell me, smart people, how do I say that?
I would think
Rakau?
Rakau, if it's Kau.
Rakau, Nelson, Vic's Secret, and Phantasm Powder.
They're in the Phantasm game. Interesting.
That's cool.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, it's
We had another
derived
half
from
recently, didn't we, Matt?
the
that had that?
skins of grapes.
That's
in
right.
the winemaking process, and the phenols that it
Skins of
has
grapes.
enhances the fruity characters of hops.
Super interesting. Yeah, yeah.
It definitely a little fruity. Yep, I can taste that.
Phantasm powder.
All I can think of is Batman and the Mask of the Phantasm every time I hear that word.
Was that a thing?
Animated series.
Mask,
Yeah.
The Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah, animated series.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
What are you drinking, Ethan?
I am having some of our Treehouse Haul. Tonight I am having Juice Machine.
What's it called?
3 J's and 3 E's. Juice Machine. They do this with like some of their beers when they do variations on it. They'll just like have it be 3 letters instead of 1 letter for like juice or green or hazy. They'll just add like 3 letters at the beginning and the end. But yeah, so this one's Juice Machine. It's tasty. This is good. What you got, Matt?
I'm not feeling the best right now, so I'm just going with the seltzer. Right now,
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Well, hey, you're a trooper for doing the podcast, even.
Hell yeah, I'm not going to leave you guys hanging.
That's very impressive. Have you been enjoying the treehouse so far? When you were feeling okay?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah,
I brought some to West Virginia and enjoyed it with my friend Gary for his 50th birthday. Gary and Jen.
Nice.
Shout out to Gary and Jen, friends of the pod. So I went to their place and we drank a number of those treehouse beers as well as some other fancy beers on Saturday night, and then on Sunday we went to Pittsburgh and saw Metallica. Yeah,
and how was that?
Excellent.
Wait, really?
Ooh, yeah.
Is that your first time seeing a full concert? Because obviously we saw them at Yankee Stadium.
They weren't there for Mo.
I thought they were there for Mo.
Not the day we were there. They were there earlier in the weekend.
No, didn't they play the pregame?
They played on Saturday. We were there on Sunday for his last game.
I swear I remember them playing.
They played that weekend, but not when we were there.
I gotta look it up.
You want to bet?
No.
Yeah, Matt's memory is annoying.
That was the day. That was the day that you dropped the ball from somebody, Matt, and I was making fun of you. And then seconds later, I tripped over the bleacher
and spilled your beer everywhere.
Like shit. Oh, they're putting the tarp out.
So this was in PNC Park. So I haven't seen a baseball game there, but I was on the field for the Metallica concert. It was excellent. So Also, pretty cool feeling in a sold out baseball stadium, like being on the field and looking up in the stands. That was impressive as well.
Were you in the pit?
I mean, general admission, we weren't in the snake pit.
Okay.
We would have had to get there at like 4 o'clock to do that, and we said no.
So they were good though. They were good live.
Yeah, James actually sounded very good.
What did they do? Like a lot of their old stuff, or a lot of like new, like a big mix of everything?
Mostly old stuff.
Okay.
They played one out of Hardwired to Self Destruct. They played one off of Saint Anger, which James was like, people don't like this album, but give it another chance.
Wait, really? He said that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they played like half of Fade to Black, or
Only
excuse me,
half?
Ride the Lightning,
Oh,
half of
okay.
the Ride the Lightning album.
Oh,
They
half of the album.
yeah, 3 or 4 songs off of Kill 'Em All.
Yeah.
I mean, they did a good show. We
That's
saw a
really
lot.
cool. Holy shit. All right.
Cool. Interestingly enough, so James is out of rehab.
I didn't know he was in recently. Okay.
So the last time I was supposed to see them was in Louisville in 2019, and they canceled the show because James went to rehab. So good for him. This is the second or third time he's gone. But he was, I'd say he sounded better. I liked how he sounded. And he was much more introspective up there. He was almost like silly dad up there, which was kind of cool.
Oh, that's
But
interesting.
in the middle, at the break in Fade to Black, when it switches from acoustic to heavy electric, he stopped and said, "This song is about suicide. I know we're not supposed to talk about it, but I love you guys. I love you all. If you're thinking about taking your own life, talk to someone, call someone. There is help out there." And then just went right in. And it was jarring because it was not what I expected to hear from him, but it was really, I really liked hearing that. It was pretty cool. So,
that's awesome. Yeah. Holy shit.
So it was a lot of fun. I can still feel the pyrotechnics as my face was melted off.
Yeah.
Openers were Ice 9 Kills, which we didn't care to see, and Greta Van Fleet. So
Greta Van Fleet. I've heard of
those
her
kiddos
or
that
them.
sound like Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
You
didn't
know
realize they
who
were
loves
that kind
Greta
of rock.
Van Fleet? Friend of the podcast, Devin Conley.
Devin loves Greta Van Fleet. I'll say, Devin. So other than the drummer, the bass, the lead singer, and the guitar, they're all brothers. I'd say lead singer guy. I know he's doing some crazy stuff to get those vocals to sound that way, but he needs to be more active up there. He did a lot of standing around. And then the one thing I couldn't get over, and again, I can't sing like this, so it feels bad criticizing him, but the way he sang when he had to get some of the kind of growled high notes is he stuck his tongue out. And it kind of looked like he was a goat, like blah, blah. But he sounded great. I mean, it was very impressive. I'd say the star of the show in terms of rocking out up there though was the lead guitarist. That was pretty cool. They're very good.
Is it
very
still?
good sound.
Oh, this is for Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we need to get Brother Jeremy on to talk about the proper form of.
Yeah. Should it be goat bleeding? Should that be is that the proper form?
I mean, again, he can do whatever. I can't sing like that, so it's something that I noticed and just chuckled every time he did it.
Yeah.
Plus, doesn't Brother Jeremy have an album coming out soon? We got to get him back on here for that.
They want it to come out soon. They've recorded a lot of it, but there's still a few things that need to be recorded. He needs to do vocals for a couple more tracks. And he was going to do them when we were home in Connecticut last week. He was going to, because they record in Connecticut at a studio there. He was going to record, but then he got COVID, and so it had to get postponed again. So he was really bummed about that because they all really want to get that shit finished and they want to get it out because I think they were hoping to try to tour this winter, on it, supporting the album. So
thanks COVID.
But yeah, thanks COVID. But man, making a record is just like an insane process. It just takes forever, just like all of these details and laying down tons of takes and everybody recording their own parts and then like all of the engineering and the producing and the mixing and everything. It's fucking endless. But hopefully we'll send good thoughts to them. Hopefully they're able to get it out in a decent amount of time because I know they've been wanting it out for ages.
Now, one last highlight from the weekend. We went to a sports bar before the show to just kill some time and have some drinks, and thought the guy was pulling our leg, but he was not. Ric Flair was at the bar. Now
No.
none of us had
There.
none of us had the guts to go and get a picture with him, but I did get a picture of the back of his head, and it was Ric Flair. He was wearing a bright red and silver suit. The hair was there. The face looked a little rough, but it was him. And when he was, when it was time for him to go, he was shuttled off to the concert in a big SUV. And we found out later through a connection of the friends I was there with that a friend of ours who was at the show also works for a catering company in Pittsburgh, and they were catering for a suite with Dave Grohl, Mario Lemieux, Ric Flair, and I'm forgetting the fourth person that was in there, but that was
What an
one
interesting
hell of a
mix.
combination in there. Yeah,
Seriously.
Mario Lemieux.
yeah,
What a throwback.
yeah.
Oh my god, that's really funny.
So he was like, "Yeah, that was Ric Flair. Holy shit!"
Super funny.
Good stuff. So I know we talk a lot about food. We've already talked about pizza. I have a very quick question for both of you. A hot dog and an Olive Garden breadstick. Yay or nay?
And did you say?
In
Or in?
Yeah.
I would
The Olive
try
Garden
it.
breadstick is the bun.
Is the bun. I would try it. I mean, Olive Garden breadsticks, I haven't had them in a million years, but they're garlicky, right?
They're delicious.
And I mean, garlic basically enhances anything that is not sweet. Anything like on the savory end of things or spicy end of things, garlic makes it better. So I would definitely try it.
Okay, so here's the thing though. It's got to be like the fattest breadstick you can find, because if it's a tiny breadstick and the hot dog to bread ratio is not good enough, then you're approaching corn dog territory.
Mm.
And
True.
Let's assume that it's been built.
Yeah, so you want a nice big breadstick that you can cut and form
a custom Olive Garden breadstick that was made to be bigger. So that
I'm not saying custom. I'm just saying pick the thickest one of the basket. They're unlimited. Send them back until you get the right one.
But you would try it, Matt?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Kyle, where did this come from?
I saw it somewhere on social media.
Okay.
That's code for Colin had that for dinner tonight. No,
Would you
No,
try it, Colin?
I would do it right now if I could. But
Yeah.
I did not have it for dinner. No.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
I think it would be phenomenal.
I thought you were going to go down the whole is a hot dog a sandwich thing. And
I'm not interested in that argument. Am I the only one who doesn't really give a shit about that?
Yeah. That's like the what's the Christmas movie that people
Die Hard.
Die
Is
Hard.
Die Hard a Christmas movie or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I also don't have strong feelings about that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I've only seen Die Hard like once, and I don't, I enjoyed it, but I'm not like some huge movie guy. Matt, do you have strong feelings about either of these?
I mean, I've got an opinion. A hot dog is a sandwich, and a burrito is not, though. So
okay, and what's tell me why? Tell us why.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you ever get a hot dog bun that falls apart? It's essentially just meat between two pieces of bread.
Yeah. Whereas a burrito, there's not two pieces. The carb part is just one piece.
Yeah, well, I'm not calling that carb. That's not bread. That's I don't know. A wrap, a tortilla is not bread. It's carbs.
It is a little bit different.
Yeah, so I can't go that far. That's too much of a stretch.
Yeah.
And okay, now I will rant against this though. Open face sandwich is not a sandwich. An open face sandwich is just shit on bread. Like you don't have open face bruschetta bread. You have or sandwiches. No, you have bruschetta on bread. It's just shit on bread. Stop calling it an open face sandwich. Like when I butter toast in the morning, I don't call it an open faced butter sandwich. No, I call it fucking buttered toast. Okay.
Oh God.
Calling it that is a pet peeve of mine. Don't give me this open faced sandwich bullshit.
In a lifetime of powerful and profound statements, Matt, This was the most powerful and profound, I think. I
Right?
love it. I love it.
You want to make an open face sandwich, an actual sandwich, take it and fuck it, fold it in half. There you go. Now you've got a sandwich.
Uh-huh. I love it. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I never really like thought about it that much, but yeah, I think you're right. It is. It's just shit on bread. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
And that is to clarify for all people, that is not a comment on the deliciousness of it. It can still be delicious.
oh, for sure, of course.
It
Yeah,
could
yeah,
be
yeah.
excellent,
Yeah.
For all of the avocado toast or hummus toast enjoyers out there, like absolutely.
I
But
think the
don't call
next.
that
Sorry.
a sandwich. Don't
Yeah.
call it a sandwich.
The next round of 2J1S merch swag that we make, I think there needs to be something like we're gonna do a diaper with my face on it, right? And then we'll do like a pint glass of Matt's quote about like an open face sandwich is just shit on bread, call it what it is or something.
I'm down for that.
Uh,
Oh man, now like cousin Greg, you're gonna listen to this tomorrow and you're gonna have like the opposing opinion that's very thought provoking and probably right, but
yeah, he's gonna like write some big Facebook post
Yeah.
and yeah, exactly.
like a pizza isn't an open faced pizza dough sandwich. No, it's a fucking pizza. And then you fold it over and you've got a calzone. Like
Yeah, he'll come up with something. Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be eloquent and correct, and he's hard to disagree with.
I can do
Very
it.
persuasive.
Greg, you're fucking wrong about whatever, anything you're gonna say. There you go.
Podcat.
The podcat.
Hey, buddy. Does Boris want to get on this next prompt that I have?
Yeah, sure. I'll put him up to the microphone.
Nice. Okay. So I'm going to tell the story and then I'm going to ask a question. This story comes from friend of the podcast, Joe Posnanski.
Hell yeah.
In one of his recent columns. I think it came from he was doing the All-State tournament. Ethan, I'm sure.
I loved it.
keeping up.
It was a fucking delight. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, so good. There's a story about Don Drysdale.
Oh, I didn't read this yet, actually. I didn't read this piece. Yeah, so I'm curious. Okay.
Okay. Should I save it?
Yeah, no, do it. Yeah. It's all
Okay.
good.
You need content.
I don't think Matt read it either. So usually I have read any Joe Paz stuff, but no, I didn't get around to this one yet. This is cool.
Well, side note, have either one of you seen the Brady Bunch episode with Don Drysdale in it?
Maybe when I was a kid, I used to watch the Brady Bunch a bit, but I don't remember it all.
Can't say I've seen a Brady Bunch episode.
Oh,
okay.
Matthew.
Wow, Matt. Yeah.
Are you a communist?
I mean, the nurse's name is Alice. It's
Yes.
Marsha.
She's not a nurse, but
housekeeper.
very, very good. Yes. Okay. Well, there's an episode with Don Drysdale. I think it's Drysdale and maybe it's Koufax. I don't know. They go over to the Brady's house, and one of the Brady boys is talking with them. I think it's the youngest one, who is Greg, Peter, Bobby, and they're just like having a conversation, and he's like, "Okay, Mr. Drysdale," and Drysdale's like, "You can call me Don," and he's like, "Okay, Mr. Drysdale," like the super silly Brady Bunch comedy that you would expect if you actually watch the show. It's just golden for the time, and obviously Don was a legend in LA, and that's where the show was and everything. Anyway, here's the story. So St. Louis had this player called Gene Oliver, and he once hit a long home run off of Drysdale. And while the ball was in the air, Oliver shouted out, "Hey, bat boy, come get the bat." So the next time up, Drysdale drilled Oliver in the ribs. He was known to do that. He was a very intimidating pitcher. He was like an equivalent to Gibson. And while he was on the ground being attended to, Drysdale yelled out, "Hey, bat boy, come get Oliver."
I actually did read that. I saw that. Yeah.
I just thought that was so fucking funny. And I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm like, I can totally see that being a thing in that age of baseball, where like just talking smack, and it was totally cool. Like no brawl's gonna break out. They're just like, yeah, fuck you, and yeah, fuck you. But This is great. This is baseball. I thought it
Wait,
was
so
great.
was the Brady Bunch lead in just fluff?
Oh yeah, that was just an
Oh,
additional
I was
story
waiting
that I
for
thought of.
I was waiting
Yeah.
for like where did the Brady Bunch come in here?
Just the
Yeah,
fact that
yeah, no.
Drysdale was on the Brady Bunch, but he was this like ferocious, intimidating pitcher also.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
Like
like, yeah, kid, call me Don. He was like
Randy
trying to be
Johnson on
nice.
Magic School Bus or something, you know?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's super funny. Yeah, I read that too. And I I agree with you, Kyle. Like I think that stuff is super fun and super interesting. And it's why like nowadays in MLB, when they mic people up, most of the time it's such a joy. Like we want to hear that shit, and
Yeah.
and like smack talk is really fun. And we've talked about this before on the pod too, I think. Colin and I used to watch like NHL smack talk videos sometimes,
Oh, yeah.
But I'm sure you can find plenty for the NFL and the NBA. I mean, those guys are jawing at each other fucking constantly. And the thing is I think that MLB players, I mean, yeah, they're pretty friendly, right? Like the first baseman, oftentimes will chat with the whatever guy just got on first base, and it can be very friendly and everything like that. But I got to imagine there's a decent amount of smack talk going on here and there, and it would be really fun. I feel like to have some more access to that and to get more stories of something like that. You gotta figure some of these guys who have a little bit more swagger, your Bryce Harpers, your Manny Machados, your Juan Sotos, whatever, Vlad Guerrero Jr. You got to imagine that like they're probably saying some shit, and it's probably pretty fun. And I feel like that would be really cool for MLB to try to mic some of that shit up and make some sort of compilation. But I feel like they're still so concerned with keeping like a clean image. They wouldn't want to publish like a compilation with a bunch of swear words or something. But if they could get past that, I feel like it would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the monologue. And so the reason I told the story is I wanted to ask both of you, have you ever been in a situation similar to that? I'm not saying like on a baseball field, but like where somebody showed you up and then you got them back and you were able to just do that in the same way that Drysdale did.
Uh, the only examples that I can think of are like music related. Um,
Tell us.
well, so trumpet players are notorious for being arrogant douchebags. And so I'm sure that the podcast will be flooded with messages now being like, yeah, we get it. Ethan's an arrogant douchebag. That's perfect. That's great. Um, you guys know, and my friends know that I was always a big fish in a small and or medium sized pond. But along the way, there were various people who thought that they were big fish, but they were not big fish. And they made comments about me and about, being able to beat me in an audition and things like this. And spoiler alert, I won all of those auditions. These people who made any comments never won a fucking thing against me. Um, but that's in the music world. There's just a lot. I was lucky. That I had teachers growing up, and we had the same band director. We were in band together in high school. So Matt knows who I'm talking about in that case. Our high school band director and my trumpet teacher were both old school. They were very, very critical. They were not complimentary. They were very honest. They were very demanding. And so I was lucky in terms of the fact that I had no illusions about things. Like
Illusions, Michael.
yeah, I knew if I sounded good. I knew if I sounded like shit. And I knew to be honest with myself if I wanted to get anywhere in this field because it's a brutally difficult field to make a living in. Um, Lots of other people were not fortunate enough to have teachers like that. And so you have a lot of people who I think were just like very naive. Um, so I will say that in that sense, I give a lot of credit to my teachers, but also it was very satisfying to beat those people. That's the closest thing I can think of for me.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like it. Did you get my illusion reference? Did you know
Um,
what I was doing?
I didn't. Matt, did
Oh,
you?
come on.
Come on.
Da-da-da-da.
Oh, yes. Now I got it. Now I got it. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Illusion, Michael. Yes. Perfect. Okay. That's good. That was good.
Side note, I had a photo pop up on my computer the other day as I was going through stuff of a package I sent someone that was labeled "Dead Dove Do Not Eat," and I I gave myself a little chuckle. It was not, it did not contain a dead animal, but I thought it was funny. I don't know. I don't know if there's any.
Matt, I
Any.
think I have an example for you. I can remember in high school, Caroline Eng. She used to talk so much shit about you, and then you were valedict and she was salutatorian. So I'm just kidding. For those who are listening, Caroline Eng, who was the salutatorian, I don't think I ever heard her speak a word. I think she was very nice by all accounts, but I don't think I ever heard her speak.
She was very, very nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think she maybe spoke 100 words around me.
In
Now,
4 years.
while we're talking about Carolina, if you're out there, I hope you're doing well.
I'm sure she listens. She's probably one of our biggest fans.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
Yeah.
so the way they do in our high school, the way they did gym classes was if you were in a science lab, that same group, you'd have, we were block schedule, so you'd have in one period every other day would be your science, and then in the other period when your lab was supposed to be, you'd have lab every 4 days, and you'd have gym in that kind of remaining hole. So that third day you have physics lab, physics, and then gym. So anyway, your science class was your gym class, and that led to odd situations where if you were one of the few athletes in, say, an AP science class, you may not have been surrounded by a lot of athletes. So flash cut to us playing four corner kickball, and this was not involving me. This was involving the quarterback of the high school football team trying to blindly turn 180 degrees and throw a kickball from one end of the gym to the other end to try and get someone out, not realizing that Caroline, who was diminutive and very quiet, she was almost like a fly in the wall, was in his throwing path. So he caught the ball, wheeled 180 degrees, and let loose a bullet that hit Caroline square in the face from about 10 feet away. And it was at the same time, most hilarious and also most scary thing I've seen. She took it. She was fine. She stayed in the game, no nosebleed or anything. But now
Amazing.
That's not where the story ends, though, because I did it to her 2 units later when we were playing floor hockey, because I knew how to throw a floor hockey puck. Thank you, Mr. Johnson Elementary School, for showing us how to throw the puck. And I threw it and hit her square in the forehead. And again, took it like a champ, but oh man, now I understand why kids are terrified of gym class, because you have idiots like me and Mike who maybe enjoy ourselves too much.
White guys named Mike and Matt. It's the fucking bane of everybody's existence.
Exactly.
Yep. No, that's amazing. Caroline Eng, holy shit, that's impressive. I didn't know. I remember you telling me the kickball one. I didn't remember the floor hockey one, but that's
yeah, I feel bad about that one.
Yeah, she's a tough motherfucker.
Hell yeah. I wonder what happened though. Caroline, if you're listening, call into the podcast. We'd love to have you on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So good. My moment is less of a fuck you moment like that Drysdale was, but it's definitely a prove it moment. I think I've told this story before somewhere, if not on this podcast. I got called up freshman year to JV baseball, and I did not do well. Did minor improvements the next year. And by the time junior year rolled around and tryouts were over, I actually had the option to play another year of JV and start, or to go to the varsity team and know that I was going to sit the bench. Those were the options that were given to me. They were like, you're not going to start, but we can call you up and you can spot people and everything. And I was like, this really hasn't gone according to plan anyway. And at this point, I just want to keep playing with my friends. I don't want to, stay down or anything. So I'll sit the bench. I really don't care. But at the same time, it's like, man, like I love baseball. I just wanted to play, and I was putting so much pressure on myself and everything. Long story short, a couple games into the season, the starting shortstop is pitching. Starting pitcher for a game, and so I get my first start, my first varsity start, first at bat. I hit a 3-run home run off of the guy who I believe won the All-State Pitcher of the Year award that season from Fowler. He was really good. And I don't know how I hit it. I don't know. I didn't even see it land. I just hit it and put my head down. And then next thing I knew, I saw the umpire had his finger twirling, and I just rounded the bases and everything. But I was like, all right, I do belong. Like, I can play here and everything. And I had like, I remember at the end of the year, Coach Drzini saying in the exit meeting, he's like, I've never had a player play the role of their job as well as you did this year. Because I wanted to play more. I hit a 3-run homer that helped us win a game, and then I sat the bench for the entire next game, like literally the next day, and everything. And like that's the type of season it was, and that was my role. And we won sectionals that year, and it was a fun season and everything. And I made a lot of really great friends, so I don't regret it, but it was definitely like a learning moment in life that even when things don't go your way, you can still perform, you can still contribute. And I think it all worked out. So
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah. Not the way I would have put it together, but
Yeah.
that's how it happened.
Hey, as a former member of the JV taxi squad, it's you never know when your opportunities will come. So
Very
I'm pretty
true.
sure I only got that spot because it was you hustled and we've got an extra jersey. So here you go. But
it's all because you were running 100% down the line on every little ground ball instead of 85%.
I never took a playoff.
Yeah, when you're 15, 16 years old, that's a little different.
Yeah, no, I know, of course. Yeah, when I was that age, I was hustling hard on every single play. So my Major League Baseball arguments are obviously a lot different. Yeah.
And not only the age, but it's like what you talked about before, Ethan. I mean, we especially like when we moved to the big field, maybe played 20 games in the school season, and then maybe 20 games in the summer. So you're talking like 40 games max. And you know what the weather's like in upstate New York. Like, you're not even playing a game until May for the most part because of the snow and the rain and everything. Like, what, quadruple that? And you've got a major league season. So it's apples and oranges. It's not even close.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, I don't think major leaguers have practices where literally the coach says, go and fill this bucket of rocks and then we're done for the day. So a little bit different requirements from high school to that was Coach Jones. I guess it was 9th grade, but go fill this bucket of rocks. That's practice today.
Why did I know Coach Jones? I must have had him for gym.
Middle school
gym, Liverpool.
Middle school gym. Okay.
Liverpool.
Was he kind of a goofball? Okay.
He did the morning announcement. Robin Williams, Good Morning Vietnam. He was like, Good morning, Liverpool.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
He's a big Dodgers fan, actually. Super nice guy.
Okay.
Loves baseball. Big Dodgers fan. I played briefly with his son. I don't know, Matt, if you ever played
Josh. I played basketball with Josh, not baseball.
Yeah, I only played baseball.
He was known to always have a cooler full of ginger ale and a bucket full of pretzel sticks.
Yeah, the pretzel sticks I remember, not the ginger ale.
The ginger ale he'd bring for umpires. But I still remember we had a practice, not to go to too many reminiscing stories, but a catcher with a last name that rhymes with bust was doing bunting practice and bunted one off of his face. And we didn't have any ice packs out there, but we had ginger ale. So he got I remember sprinting to pick the cooler up and then sprinting back to the other corner of the field.
So good. Nice. Yeah, he would actually probably love a podcast like this where we could talk baseball. Like he loves baseball the same way that we love baseball.
Oh, and Josh, shout out to Josh Jones. He worked for the Chiefs for a little while.
Yeah, I remember that.
So he's a professional connection for us.
Yep.
Hey, I got a mini rant. So there's a big event happening this weekend in New York City.
in New
at
York.
Yankee Stadium on Sunday?
Paul O'Neill.
On the
Getting his
21st of
number-
August.
getting
Yes,
his-
21st of August.
getting his number retired.
Unvaccinated Paul O'Neill.
Unvaxxed
Yes,
Paul
that's
O'Neill.
what
Trump
so
endorsing Paul O'Neill.
They are bending over backwards to accommodate him there.
Yeah.
So, and I just thought it was a little ridiculous. Like if I were Steinbrenner, I know everyone loves him, but I would have said, nope, sorry. Because, I mean, he's not even going to be able to talk with players. Like, they're going to have to stay in the dugout while it all happens because of the COVID rules of the team and of the major leagues. So he can't be in the Yes Network booth. He can't be talking to any players on the field.
And I think Yes has been bending over backwards to accommodate him this year.
Yes.
Yep.
And I love his commentary, but damn it, Paul, come on. The jab.
I'm with you 100%, Matt. Yeah, you and I are the Paulie fans here in terms of his broadcasting. Yeah, I love him as a broadcaster. Yeah. But yeah, that shit is infuriating. It's selfish and it's stupid, and it makes me lose a lot of respect for him. And I'm with you too. Like, as far as I'm concerned, they should have canceled it. They should have said, "No, we're not going to do this." Like, if you're not willing to get a fucking shot, like, we're not going to do this.
Now, speaking of losing respect to people on broadcasts, one other thing I wanted to bring up while we're thinking of this stream of consciousness. Anyone pay attention to what happened on the K-Rod podcast or broadcast on Sunday night?
I saw just like little quotes and stuff. I didn't actually watch it. Kyle, did you watch?
Thankfully, no, because I heard it was super awkward.
Yeah, someone was a sullen little, sullen little SOB and threw a bit of a hissy fit.
Wait, who threw the hissy fit?
Derek.
Okay, I was gonna say, because I saw A-Rod's quotes and A-Rod was like owning up for being an asshole.
Yeah.
He was like accepting.
A-Rod actually, and this is, I bring it up twofold. Number one, because as much as I don't like A-Rod, I wanted to tell Colin, he looks like the better one. He comes out way better than this. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Granted, they put an old Sports Illustrated issue photo up of Jeter, A-Rod, and three other shortstops without a shirt on. Okay. Yeah. It's a goofy picture from 25 years ago. But holy crap, for Jeter to throw a hissy fit there and say, "This is the last time I'm ever coming on this," and walk off and end the interview and not come back.
Is that what happened? I didn't.
Yes.
How did I not read about this? How is this not like a big
headline? This is the last time I'll be on this show, and he walked off.
I saw, so I saw the end of the game, and at the end of the game, they played like what I thought were highlights, and I heard him say that, and I thought he was laughing, but they cut before he like walked off or anything.
No, because Kay ends that was right at the end of the inning. Kay ends the inning saying, "Well, we'll see if Derek Jeter's back next inning."
So he was supposed to come back for another inning.
I think he was supposed to be in the booth longer than that.
Oh, this was in the booth, because I saw something where they were sitting like on a stage. It looked like center stage.
Well, in the K-Rod booth.
Yeah, this was for K-Rod.
It's different. It's like the Manning cast. I don't know if you ever saw that last year with the NFL.
I know about it, but
yeah. So it's they're not in the booth. They're in their own studio in New York, I think. Doing. I mean, they're covering the game, like they'll say, but they're not doing play by play like when you listen to Michael K tonight. They're doing interviews. Roger Clemens was on giving like pitching tutorial.
Yeah.
They'll have like random people on, not even just baseball people, like celebrities and whatever. Just it's a different style. Like for people who don't really care about the play by play call, you can still watch the game. And you can listen to this other commentary going on.
Okay.
Now, and I'm bringing this up to hammer home the point we talked about a couple weeks ago. If that's going to get under his skin, I have even less of an inclination to watch the Captain documentary now, docuseries, because if he's going to get that upset about that, what else are we not seeing? Like, to me, it tells me that his veto power in the Captain docuseries just means it's not genuine.
Like Michael Jordan style.
Yeah.
So wait, so hold on. What was there like a specific thing that made him throw the fit and walk off? Like
they showed the picture of him from Sports Illustrated.
Wait, it was just because of that?
That's what got him upset.
Who gives a shit about that?
It's a picture of him and A-Rod and three other. I think it was
Nomar. Nomar was one of them, and maybe
it was Renteria.
Nomar wasn't on that.
It might have been pre-90. It might have been 97 leading into that season when Nomar was a rookie. So
Okay.
Renteria would have already been in the league. That's a good one.
Yeah, it was 97.
Yeah, so it was before
So it was
Nomar got
Jeter,
big.
Rodriguez, Renteria, Alex Gonzalez, and Ray Ordonez.
I was going to say Alex
Ordonez.
Gonzalez.
All shirtless, wearing baseball pants and gold chains.
Alex Gonzalez hit a game-winning homer off the Yankees with the Marlins.
Ugh.
And
against douchebag.
And yeah, like
Douchebag. I think of douchebag as Jeff Weaver. Are you thinking of? He wasn't on. In 2003.
2003.
Duh.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
Fuck
Jeff Weaver.
I mean,
oh, we got to share screen
share.
Right? Like that's
yeah, like I don't know. This doesn't surprise. Like, yeah, I mean, honestly, this makes sense to me. Baseball was trying to market its young stars. Like, why wouldn't you? And why did Jeter throw a fit? I don't understand. What was his problem? Like,
are you sure, Matt, that he actually threw a fit? I'm just confused as to why they showed it in what I thought was like a highlight compilation at the end of the game. It was like, before they signed off.
This will be my last visit here. After some laughter, Kay continued calling the game. Moments later, the shirtless photo appeared on the screen. Rodriguez laughed. Jeter was silent. Well, it was nice having you, Rodriguez says. Jeter responds again, this is my last time here.
Wow.
So weird. So the clip they showed was the first time he said it then.
Yes.
He said it twice.
And then they stayed for another couple seconds, and then he was gone.
Yeah. So the clip they showed, he says it, and he kind of like is laughing, like his head is up, and he's like kind of joking, but clearly he was serious.
But I guess they must have gone over it in a pre-production meeting, because Kay joked with Jeter that Jeter and his team were trying to scare the producers into not showing the photo.
Yeah, now, I'm reading about it right now.
It's scared is in quotes, so I don't know what that implies. But yeah,
I'm pretty sure they showed that picture in the documentary. I don't understand. It's
like, I don't get why he was so bothered by it. That's really weird to me.
It's probably just because it's A-Rod and there's that friction that is never going to go away.
But again, what's odd about it is A-Rod was conciliatory through it all, and I don't give that guy praise, and I thought he I guess if he comes out of the whole thing looking like the bigger more mature person.
Yeah. I mean, I told you he's done a lot of work on himself. Like, he's admitted that he was a terrible person. The parts I've seen so far in the documentary, what's interesting about the specific comments that always come up. So there's two things I found really interesting. Everyone thinks it was that article, that SI article or whatever, that broke their friendship. But Jeter says in the documentary that he was willing to forgive A-Rod. They had like a 1 hour convo together. After that, they walked away. They were in a good spot. And Jeter says it was on the Dan Patrick show weeks later that A-Rod basically said the same thing again. That's when he was like, you're done. Like, I'm done with you forever. And A-Rod, the other interesting thing is A-Rod says in the documentary, he's like, I still think what I said is true. He's like, we weren't afraid of Jeter. It was Bernie, it was O'Neill, and everything. And like, Jeter was fortunate to play on really great teams, and all that stuff. And I was like, that part I can see. The part I can't understand is why A-Rod would have a 1 hour conversation with this so and so best friend, try to make things better, and then go on a talk radio show, a super popular talk radio show, and say exactly the same thing and think that Jeter wasn't going to find out about it.
That's unfortunately not the first time A-Rod's done that. That's kind of his MO, whether it was
right
bashing Griffey for MVP votes in Seattle, or talking about the contract in Texas. Like, he's done that before. Oh, I'm great friends with Griffey. We're best friends. He should get the MVP. And then 2 weeks later say, no, he still votes for me. He's the reason I didn't win. And just,
Yeah. You know, one thing, not to defend A-Rod too much, but I do think that this is interesting to consider sometimes. Are you which year are you talking with that, Matt? Do you remember? Was that 96? Was that his rookie year with
The
the
Griffey part?
MVP, or 97?
I want to say it was 97.
Because those were the two. Griffey had incredible years both of those years, and so did
It had to be
A-Rod.
96 because A-Rod had a down year in 97.
Yeah, I mean, A-Rod hit more homers in 97, I think, but everything else was down, if I remember correctly. But here's the thing, I just want to oh yeah, he had a way down year in 97. So it had to be either 96 or 98. No
Yeah.
chance it was 97. I'm looking at his numbers now. I just want to remind everybody, not to excuse A-Rod, but you know how old he was in 1996 when he was fucking incredible and had one of the best seasons for a 20-year-old ever? Or 20. I just gave you the answer. He was sorry.
How old was he?
I'm like getting all emotional now. I'm getting fired up, and I like forgot where I was going. 20 years old. Like, what the fuck
Yeah.
were we all doing when we were 20 years old? Dude was like one of the 5 best baseball players on the planet.
Yeah. I think about that shit all the time. I think about my 20s in general and like the growth and the opportunities and the bad times and the good times. And I'm like, I'm an average person with a super private life. The reason I started thinking about it a lot is because in the Eagles documentary, they talk about like them being in their 20s and like getting to be the Eagles. And it's like, it's huge. It's a fucking crazy deal to think about when you're like 23, 24 years old, that you're on top of the world. And what did A-Rod sign that first contract when he was 26?
20.
Like,
He was 25 his first season with Texas.
oh my God.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable to think
Yeah.
about.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying I excuse all of his behavior, but I'm also saying, like, I think that sometimes people, and that would apply to the modern era too, we can be so hard on these athletes without like trying to remind ourselves how young they are. I'm 32. I fuck up all the goddamn time. I am constantly trying to not be an idiot every day, right? Like, can you imagine being a world-class athlete and making millions of dollars and being on the road all the time? Like, you know, you're gonna fuck up. And so now A-Rod he may be kind of fake when he is trying to make amends. I don't know, right? How can we judge his genuineness? We don't know him, but at least he's like making the effort. At least, as Matt said, he was being conciliatory on this show. And like I said, I saw some of the quotes where he was like, you know what, I will not excuse my behavior. My behavior was my own. I will not make excuses. At least he's like saying that shit. I mean, who knows how genuine he is. But yeah, just like imagine being 20 or 21 or 22 or 23. All of that is insanely young. Like, I mean, it's really mind blowing if you like truly think about it.
I don't know. I never did anything stupid when I was 20.
Mic drop.
Say,
Yeah,
jump,
right, exactly.
jump cut. How old was I when I was at your respective patios?
Right, and threw up on our patios, right? Well, the
Ethan's
one
was,
to be
Ethan's
fair,
patio, I was
yeah,
18.
you were 18 then, so yeah, so you get off on that one, yeah.
Colin's patio, I was drinking age. So my statement still may statement still may stand.
Yeah.
Oh man, super funny.
Good stuff.
Well, that's crazy, Matt. I didn't know that about Jeter. Thank you for telling us. I was reading about it. Really fascinating. Yeah.
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 Yep.
I mean,
And it came with a really good title for this episode. I'm constantly trying not to be an idiot every day.
That works. I thought maybe you would go with
it's just shit on bread.
Yeah, it's just shit on bread. Yeah, that's yeah.
Ooh.
You got a couple. You got a couple good options here. Yeah. Yeah.
I do like it. All right, boys, you got any shout outs before we go?
I mean, this was our best episode ever, you know. Shout outs to ourselves.
Every time
we
do it, it's the best episode.
Exactly. It's just getting better every single time. So
I don't know if I got anything. Metallica was awesome.
That's very good.
Shout out to Vital Stats. I saw Vital Stats on Friday night.
What is that? What is Vital Stats?
It's like a funk rock group.
Oh,
very
right.
good. Very good.
Cool.
Very good show.
Sweet.
Almost as good as Metallica. I'd say they put on a great show.
Nice.
That's it.
Cool. All right, boys. Same time next week.
Uh-huh.
Peace out.